Three tips to buying your first guitar, or any guitar really. Let's do this. This video I'll show you 3 tips to buy your first guitar. So, first important tip, don't buy your guitar online, or I could say buy your guitar from a guitar shop or a trusted friend. Reason number 1 is that when you listen to a guitar online, so to say, which you might do when you buy a guitar online, it goes through a microphone from someone, through the internet, through your speakers, so it will always sound different in real life, and you do want to know how your guitar sounds truly when you buy it. Second, even more important reason, is that when buying your first guitar, playability is very important. It might hurt playing guitar in the beginning, mentally and physically. And mentally I can't solve that problem, well, watch my videos. But physically, one important factor is, for example, how far the strings from your guitar, this thing, are from your neck. So that translates to how hard you have to push your fingers to make a sound. And the less you have to push, the more easy it is to play. And when you buy a guitar from the guitar shop, oftentimes the guitar shop or the guitar man has looked into this factor. So making sure that the guitar is not too difficult to play. While if you buy your guitar online, it might come straight out of the factory, which sometimes makes it happen that the guitar isn't set up that nicely. If the guitar is in storage for a long time, this might affect the playability. So if you truly want to buy your guitar online, if I can't stop you because I don't have the resources for that, I will find you though. If you truly want to buy your guitar online, I've done this as well. So I'm a hypocrite. And what I would recommend is buying it online and then taking it to a guitar shop, taking your guitar to a guitar shop or a guitar repairman, and say, hey, I bought this guitar online, does this need a setup? What do you think? And sometimes they will say no, and sometimes they will say yes. Tip number 1.5. Looks matter for your first guitar. This might be controversial, but especially if you're a beginner, at least I couldn't hear any difference between different guitars. I just thought some looked cooler than others, and I think that's important, especially for your first guitar. You want to bond with it, you want to be cool with it, so don't be ashamed to admit that you want a guitar because it looks cool. I get that. It took me some years to be able to truly hear a difference between guitars. Tip number 2, budget. That's not a tip, but my tip is, if you can spend a few more dollars or euros, don't be afraid to do so. A guitar can last you a lifetime. If you at one point decide to stop playing, it still looks cool on your wall. And you might at one point have a grandchild or a son that wants to play guitar. You know, you never know. And of course, not everyone is in that position, which I truly understand. So you can get, I think, a good acoustic guitar as a beginner for 200 euros, 150 to 200 euros, $150 to $200, something around that range. Oftentimes in guitar shops you can also buy second-hand guitars. I truly recommend it as well. They are often in very good condition, and it's cheaper. And I think an electric guitar set could be around $400 to euros. But again, you might find a guitar set that's 200 or 300 euros. That's very decent as well. That isn't fixed. The thing is that the cheaper you go, the bigger the chances that you buy something that you might regret. However, there are great videos on YouTube that showcase these cheaper beginner models. I think Paul Davids has a great video on that. You can check that out as well. And then once you've checked it out, find that guitar in a local guitar store, and then you can try it and then you can buy it. That's my quote, you know. These videos on famous cheap guitars from Yamaha or such are great. What's important to consider as well is that some guitar stores offer less famous brand guitars, and these can be great as well. You know, because sometimes you pay for the brand as well. If I buy a guitar from Fender, I also buy for the fact that it says very cool Fender on my guitar. If I buy a guitar from Hippity Hoppity Guitars or something like that, I pay less for the brand, because who wants a guitar that says Hippity Hoppity on it? Now tip number 3. Yes. Tip number 3 is don't forget an amp if you buy an electric guitar. That tip sounds terrible, and I don't mean it like that. What I mean is that the same goes for an amp. Don't be afraid to spend a few more dollars if you can. If you buy a great electric guitar and your amp is shitty, your electric guitar will be shitty as well. If you buy a bad guitar and a great amp, it will still sound not too nice as well. Don't overlook the amp in that regard. If you buy a nice guitar, try to buy a nice amp as well. That sounds quite obvious, and I'm sorry for that, but I have seen people play on great guitars or bass guitars with a terrible amp, and that's just sad to see or to listen to, because it doesn't reach its potential. Also, for an amp, I think an important part of buying an amp, an important tip, is that the more oftentimes, and I might want to hear your opinion on this, one of the things that influences the price is how loud the amp can go. And especially if you're a beginner, you don't want your amp to go that loud. That's not important, except for when you want to perform. So look into this as well. Your first amp doesn't have to be big, because the fact that it's big means that it probably can go very loud, which you don't have to, but you do pay for that. You know what I mean? So don't be afraid to buy a small amp. It might look less cool, but it's perfect for what you want to do. So I have two bonus tips as well. First bonus tip is, if you have a music friend or music teacher, don't be afraid to invite them along with you to the music store. I've done this with my guitar teacher at the time, and that was a great help. It's nice to have a second opinion, and it's fun as well. Bonus tip number 2, listen to my band Fifth Wave. This doesn't help you in any way with buying your first guitar, but it might help you with finding some music that you might like, which is worthy as well. So that's the end of the video. Let me know what you think. It's a bit different than what I usually make. As you might have noticed, my uploading schedule is terrible, and I want to try out some new things to see how I can reach an audience, and also how I can make something that I do enjoy. And I think I do enjoy talking about music theory, or talking about these more tips regarding guitar playing, so I could make videos on which pedals I think you should buy as a beginner, or how you can create a song, or how you can record your guitar, or how you can do all that stuff. So or highlight or analyze songs, you know. Let me know what you think of that. If you're thinking just don't do it, then well, you can say it, but say it kindly, you know. But I love you, and I'll see you soon.